What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the late start today. Just say I was up very late working on stuff for the Discord, and I didn't think it would be a problem for me. My alarm didn't go off, so that was cool. So, appreciate your guys' patience. Waiting around. I know it's annoying, but let's get to it. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so let me share my screen with you guys, and we're going to get into it. Alright, but I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you've traded good so far if you have traded. Alright, so over here on NQ, obviously, if you guys have been on the charts, you know we pumped very aggressively after our PMI news. So I was expecting us to pump today. Right, news can be kind of a wild card if you're not really like watching the news very tightly and analyzing it correctly. Then it's kind of a gamble, right? So I typically don't trade the news, but in terms of technical analysis, I wanted to see us continue long. Look at this 15-minute unicorn I called out yesterday. I know I sent a message into our chat room, but look at how perfectly it played out. Remember how I said if I was on the charts and I saw price come back into this fair value gap, I would 100% take the long? Well, I wasn't on the charts, but when I got back home last night, I saw this and it was already up here, and I was like, okay, it's a little too late for me to try to get in. But I mean, look at how it played out. Longs are stepping in. We've had a crazy pump so far, and then look what we did. We formed another bullish breaker with this low high, lower low. Okay, so now we have another one up here on the 15-minute time frame. All right, and look how price wicks into it and pumps. Okay, so we've got a few bullish breakers here. We've already hit our first standard deviation on that 15-minute. But first, let's go up. I want to look at higher time frames. So let's look at our targets here. Oops. Right, so we have up here, we have this high. Okay, this is a key high right at our second standard deviation. Strong level of liquidity here. Alright, so this is some buy side liquidity I'm looking at. Would like to see price come up and try to take that buy side liquidity. Okay, our next level I'd be looking at on the 4-hour time frame would be this 4-hour order block up here. That 4-hour order block. 4-hour minus OB, right? Because it's a bearish order block. Hey, nice. Post news longs. Let's go. How many ticks did you catch? Yeah, those longs definitely. I hope you guys are able to catch them. Either way, guys, I don't trade the news. I wait until about now, anyways, to trade. After news, I don't really like to trade in that extremely high volatility. No, we're not in anything. We're kind of just doing some analyzing. We're looking at our levels. So like I said, guys, if we go back to this 15-minute time frame, we respected this unicorn that I called out yesterday. We come up here, we form another bullish breaker here on the 15-minute. We trade into it, pump. Okay, so pretty strong bullish bias today, right? So now we're looking for our bullish levels that price is going to go take out. So like I said, that first one is this high up here. That first buy side level we're looking at is this high up here, and our next buy side level is these highs up here. Alright, so we got these highs up here, and then we got that 4-hour order block above. Alright, so let's go down to a 5-minute time frame. A lot of long wicks on the 5-minute, right? A lot of long wicks up here. A lot of struggle, but again, we're still bullish. And like I like to, this is the way I like to trade on breakouts. and strong bullish or bearish trends is when we form these order blocks on the 5-minute time frame. Kind of like yesterday, when we trade back into those order blocks, I like to take those long, right? So like this order block here, this order block here, when we trade back into it, I like to look for long setups off of those, right? So yes, if that first high gets taken, we'll be expecting some retracement in the market, right? So if we take out this liquidity level at this high, and it depends, do we get displacement or do we push through that level with aggression and close, or like, right, so do we get aggressive and close above this level, or do we swing up and just wick above, grabbing liquidity and dropping, right? That's going to tell us a lot. That's going to tell us a lot. So yeah, our standard deviation is from this 15-minute breaker, but look how it lines up perfectly. Our second standard deviation lines up perfectly with that liquidity level just above. Just above, right? So that's a good confluence there. I would wait because we're about to take out that liquidity already. I'm not going to hop in a trade up here. So I'm waiting to see, okay, are we going to take out that liquidity now? And are we going to get that reversal, right? Are we going to get some kind of reversal in the market? Or are we going to keep pumping? Right? So if we break through that liquidity and we really just displace with some, strong momentum, then I'm looking for retracement, pump. But let's say we form like a bearish reversal pattern up here. Let's say we sweep the liquidity and then we come down, maybe form like a bearish breaker. We might head back all the way back down, right? We might head back down and try to balance out the market a little bit, right? Remember, what I like to do, if you guys don't know, is I like to chart out my high and low from our morning range, right? So from our AM New York range, I like to chart out my high and low, and then so let's say this was our high up here. I chart out the low from the morning, right? So actually from 8:30 on. So once our market technically, like once we start getting volume and the market is at 8:30 a.m. Pacific, right? So what I would do if we did get that reversal pattern is I would expect price to trade back down into a discount, right? So everything below this 0.5 right here is our discount. Everything above is our premium. Okay, so if we got a reversal pattern, I would expect price to probably trade back down into a discount before we pumped again for the rest of the day, right? I'm still expecting us to pump for the rest of the day. Okay, let's look at a daily level here. I know my charts are kind of cluttered up here with all these different Fibonacci's. If you guys can look and see, we've got this imbalance on our daily level just above, right at that 4-hour order block, right? And we're very, very bullish, okay? So I'm expecting price to come back up, probably try to refill this imbalance above, and possibly even push up to this daily order block up here. All right, we got that strong reaction off our daily order block. So that's why, I'm expecting a bullish day for the rest of the day, right? But we're also gotta be aware that there's possibility of retracement, especially the closer we get to lunchtime, especially when we're a little overextended to the high side. I'm going to take a look over here at the VIX. Alright, VIX is still very bearish here. I'm going to look at the DXY. DXY is pumping a little bit, right? So when we see that, when we see the DXY or the VIX pumping, I expect NQ to get a little drop. When we see those dumping, I expect NQ to get a little pump, right? So now I'm kind of waiting to see, are we going to get some kind of reversal pattern or are we going to continue to pump? But at this point, I'm not going to long this market until I get real retracement and a real level that I can take long, right? So over here on ES, ES has this same high up here, same level of liquidity. Right, same level of liquidity over here on ES. So, just kind of waiting to see what we do. Waiting to see what we do here. right? I'm still expecting us to target this liquidity level above, but like I said, I'm probably not going to get in the longs when we're already up at the top of this level in the premium. Just because we're not going to be offered with a lot of reward, it's not really worth the risk to me at this point up here. But, you know, if we get some good retracement, that's when I would start to look for a better long setup, right? Like, let's say we were to retrace a little bit more, right? I still think we're going long. We're going to take out this liquidity. But again, I'm not going to get in up here, right? I'm going to wait till we sweep that liquidity and see if we get strong displacement, like I said, or if we just sweep it and then come back down. Yeah, so our standard deviations. So look, we just took out that liquidity level. So now we're gonna see, are we gonna pump through that liquidity level, or are we gonna start to retrace? So we just wicked above it. We just wicked above it. Alright, nothing too crazy. But this is what I mean. Like, are we gonna push through, or are we just gonna wick above? Right now it's looking like we're really trying to push through it. It's really looking like we're trying to push through. Yeah, but those standard deviations, right? So let me delete these real quick. The standard deviation is off this 15-minute breaker here. Okay, so we have this low, this high, this lower low, and then we pump and displace this previous high. Okay, so that's a bullish breaker pattern. Okay, so what I do is I get my standard deviation, I get my Fibonacci tool, and I go from this high, from the high to the first low. Okay, and then I use my 1, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 for standard deviations, and those are good confluence to what price is probably going to try to target. Probably what price is going to target, right? I don't solely use these standard deviations as targets, but when they line up with other levels, it gives me extra conviction in my trades, right? Like when I see the second standard deviation lining up right at this liquidity level, that gives me some extra confirmation and extra conviction in my trade. All right, and look how this third standard deviation is right up at this 15-minute bearish fair value gap up here, right? So another strong confluence there. Right, so longs are looking like they're wanting to displace. So what I'm waiting for is this 15-minute to close in about a minute and a half. Right, so once this 15-minute closes, we're gonna see a lot. Okay, if this 15-minute closes and the candle closes above, then I'm gonna expect us to get some retracement, and then we're gonna pump. Right, so once we get that retracement, I'll get in the longs. Right, but if we wick back down in the next minute, then I'll expect shorts to come in and kind of rebalance the market a little bit. Oh yeah, we got more people in here today. Super awesome to see. Super awesome to see. Yeah, guys, we're up to 434 people that have signed up through WAP. Pretty awesome. I'm really glad to see you guys all here. What's up, Radical Whooper? Thanks, Daniel. All right, guys, so we got 20 seconds left on this 15-minute. All right, so look how we're about to close above. Good. So we're waiting to see that displacement here. Waiting to see that displacement. And then what I'm expecting is maybe price to retrace back down into this order block here, and we can get a good long setup, right? So look how the candle closed above. So now we got the displacement. So that's why I'm expecting the longs to continue to step in, right, and not get a reversal right now. Right, so now I'm looking at this order block here. All right, so I'm looking at this order block here. I want to see price retrace back into this 5-minute order block to catch a good long setup here. All right, this would be a good level for us to retrace into for the longs to come back, right? So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. And again, I'm not going to chase these longs unless we get that retracement. I'm not just going to chase, right? I'm going to wait for the right setup. And again, guys, the hard thing about trading a day like today is look how many ticks we're moving at a time. We're moving crazy amounts of ticks, right? So there's a lot of reward. But the issue is that means we're gonna have to really focus on our stop loss, because a 50 tick stop loss can very easily get stopped out pretty quick on a day like today, right? So you have to really get your entries very, very, very accurate. You have to get your entries very down. Right, so that's why sometimes, I'll probably go in pretty light to start. Right, or I'm going to go in like normal, like how I always do, like going in half a lot to start. Because of that reason, because there's a lot of opportunity for price to stop us out today if we don't get the perfect entry. Okay, another thing we can do is look at 1 minute levels, right? So on a breakout, when we look at our 1 minute levels, when price retraces, right, maybe into this 1 minute fair value gap, into this 1 minute order block, we start to see a reaction off those levels. We can also take those long. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of wait and play this out a little bit. Right, and I'm not really like in a rush to take a trade here. Like I want to find a good setup here, but I'm not in a rush right now to get in a trade, because I'm not trying to chase the longs. I'm trying to wait for good retracement, right? Good setup, good risk management. So we just went to that second liquidity level I marked out. Remember these highs up here? So we just touched into that level. We barely wicked above there. Okay, so remember our next level we're looking at is this 4-hour order block above, and we're getting pretty close to it. Okay, but I would expect us to get some retracement in the market before we go up for that 4-hour order block. So I want to see that retracement happen. I want to see us come back down a little bit. Right, I want to get a better long setup with some better risk management. Right, instead of trying to get in the longs up here and kind of chasing price up here. Right, that's not what I do. I don't like to chase price. I like to wait for that retracement, for that pullback. Yeah, we definitely have that silver bullet set up. The issue is with the silver bullet, we're already taking that liquidity. Right, so we're kind of already playing out our silver bullet right now. Right, but if we form a fair value gap, right, like this, once this fair value gap is formed, this is another level we could look to take long down here. Right, so that's a good idea. I like that idea. Right, so we're going to look at this 5-minute fair value gap. We're going to look down at this order block as possible levels for us to get entries, right? This 5-minute candle is about to close. So let's see if we displace this high on the 5-minute. Yeah, we have the fair value gap right here. We have this fair value gap right here. Okay, so we took out that liquidity. We can get rid of that. All right, so now we have this 5-minute fair value gap that just formed right here. All right, 5-minute bullish fair value gap, right? And so this could be another level that we look to get an entry off of. But guys, like, look how many ticks we're moving per candle. Like per 5-minute candle, 139 ticks per 5-minute candle there. This one from our open to our close, 142 ticks to the close, right? So we're moving a lot. Like I said, it was PMI today, so we have higher volatility moves in the market, right? We're going to see the market move a lot more than normal. So we have to be very careful with our entries, okay? Because we could very easily get stopped out of trades because of how much we're moving. All right, we also formed this 1 minute fair value gap here with this 1 minute order block here, right? So now we're getting that retracement. We came up, we did not displace this high, right? So we didn't displace this high, we wicked above, and we're starting to get that retracement now. So I'd want to see us come back down, right, into this fair value gap at least. So that's the issue with our stop loss, right? What I would like to do is I would like to get an entry down at the consequent encroachment, right? So the equilibrium of this fair value gap, and I would keep a stop loss around 55 ticks underneath the fair value gap. That would be an ideal setup, right? But sometimes we just touch into that fair value gap up here and we pump. So we're gonna see if we start to get a reaction up here. You know, maybe I'll look for an entry, but I would like to see us retrace a little bit farther into this level. You know, I would like to see us at least, you know, try to come down to this 50% level. But again, we're gonna look at this 1 minute too and see what this 1 minute offers. Right, because if we start to get reaction off this 1 minute fair value gap here, we could also get a long entry from here. But like I said, we wicked above up here and we did not displace, right? So that's why I'm expecting some more retracement here. And that's why we look at the 15 minute. Right, that's why we're looking at this 15 minute, because look at that wick above at our liquidity level. That's not strong displacement. Yes, so we have that 5 minute fair value gap right here. We have this charted out here. Alright, so this is that 5 minute fair value gap. This is what I want to see us retrace back into right here. Right, so the equilibrium of this fair value gap is about 17,556. 17,556. We have the similar fair value gap here on ES. Right here. Alright, so we're waiting for us to retrace back into that level. Alright, and we'll see if we can get a good entry. Again, we might not even come back down to here. We might get a pump from this 1 minute fair value gap, right? And if we start to get a pump from this 1 minute fair value gap, I'll look for a long entry off of this one. But after seeing this 15-minute candle, after seeing the strong move up, wick back down, I'm expecting us to get some more retracement here. I'm expecting us to move down a little bit. Alright, I even thought about maybe trying to get a quick trade in the shorts here, but again, I don't want to trade the shorts in this strong bullish trend, because at any point we have a higher likelihood of price continuing to pump. Right, so I don't like trading shorts in a strong bullish trend, right? Even if I do think they're going to retrace back down to this level, I don't like to trade shorts, right, in a bullish trend. Okay, I like to wait for retracement for the shorts to come in, and then to catch a bullish trade, right? So that's what I'm waiting for here. Waiting for us to come down a little bit. Yeah, no, we haven't had any real displacement to the downside. No real displacement to the downside yet. Alright, that's why I'm just expecting this to be a retracement move. We also just formed this fair value gap here on the 5 minute, and we just traded into it. So if we start to pump from here, we might even see a long setup from here. So I might even look for a long setup from here, guys, off this 1 minute, or this 5 minute here. Let's see though. We're gonna need to see some, some more momentum for me to get that conviction to want a long from here. Right, I need some more conviction. My confirmation on this trade would be for ES to come down as well into this 5 minute and to get a strong reaction on both NQ and ES off that 5 minute fair value gap, right, where we come down possibly to that 50% level and start to pump, or even from this level if we start to pump from this 5 minute fair value gap, that would give me some extra conviction as well. Alright guys, I got an entry in the longs here off this 5 minute. Okay, I'm gonna test it out. Remember, this is my first trade of the day. I'm just gonna test it out off this 5 minute fair value gap, and if we retrace back down, then I'll look for an entry back down in this 5 minute fair value gap. Okay, so I'm gonna have a 50 tick stop here. I'm gonna have a 50 tick stop at 17,569. And again, if I get stopped out, or 17,569. And if I get stopped out here, then I'm okay. I'm not worried about it. Okay, I'm not worried about it. Okay, because this is more of testing the market out to see if we get a strong reaction at this level. I need to place my stop here at 6.9. Right, because we formed this 5 minute fair value gap, we wicked down to start, and we start to pump a little bit. Okay, so that's why I want to look for an entry here. I'd look for a first TP at the break of this high, right, and then I would look to keep holding it, maybe up to our third standard deviation up here, right? And like I said, guys, this is testing out the market. I'm seeing a strong reaction off this 5 minute fair value gap. Okay, and if I get stopped out, I'm okay with getting stopped out of this trade because I'm expecting, I know this is more of an aggressive entry, because I know there could be more retracement. So this is me just saying, okay, we formed another fair value gap. We're in a strong bullish trend. We started to get a reaction. So I just want to test it out. I want to get involved, right? I want to get involved because we have the possibility of pumping from this level. And I'm okay because I have my risk management down. I'm okay with getting stopped out. Okay? I'm going to I just added into a full there. I just added into a full. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my stop up a little bit, keep it at 50 ticks. So at 17,569.75. Okay, now I'm going to let this one run. I'm going to set a limit order, right? If we're starting to see a strong reaction from here, so this could be a level that we pump from. So that's why I'm testing it out, right? That's why I'm testing it out. Right, and we might get stopped out here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I like testing this. I like testing this trade out. Right, I like testing this trade out. Again, first trade of the day. I'm willing to test this out. I'm willing to test this one out. So we'll see. We're getting some strong bearish candle there, which I don't like to see. We might come down and stop me out here. We might come down and stop me out. That 5 minute didn't close great, but we still respected that 5 minute imbalance so far. Right, and this is that 5 minute fair value gap I was talking about, right? But we're coming down. We might come back down into that other 5. Okay, so I'm stopped out here. So we're going to still see if we respect this level, but if not, right, so I'm going to get rid of that limit. So, okay, so first trade of the day, testing out the market. First loss, all right? I'm okay with taking that loss because it's something I wanted to test out. So now we're going to see, does price still respect this 5 minute fair value gap? or are we going to displace and come back down into this one? Right now we're looking like we're trying to come back down into this fair value gap, and this is the next entry I'd look for, right? Okay, so I'm going to look for an entry now down in this 5-minute fair value gap. Okay, but I'm going to wait because we got it. That's a strong 1-minute displacement candle, right? So now I kind of want to wait. I want to wait for us to fill a little bit more of this fair value gap before I get in any other long position. Right, just because we got such an aggressive bearish candle here, right? This is a very aggressive bearish candle. So that's why I'm kind of waiting. Even though we're seeing the strong reaction off the 5-minute, that's why I'm waiting right now. Because this 1-minute candle was very bearish. We displaced this 1-minute order block. All right, so I want to wait and see, are we going to get more of a reaction to the downside first? Let's look over here. Yeah, we're going to see. Now I'm going to wait a little bit. Okay, but now that 5-minute candle on ES is into that fair value gap. So that's extra confirmation here. Alright, so that's a good reaction. What I don't like is us forming this bearish order block right here. Alright, we have a lot of bearish momentum. Again, I like this. I like the setup for the longs, but I'm just not completely convinced yet. I'm not completely convinced in this trade yet. All right, I think we're going to come back down a little bit more. Alright, so we got 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. And now we're into this 15-minute bullish fair value gap as well. Alright, we came down almost to that 50% level of the 5-minute. But we're forming, we just formed a stronger bearish pattern with this fair value gap above, with this 1-minute order block, right? So now I really got to get that confirmation. I do like that reaction there. If we start to get more of a reaction, I'm going to look to long this. Okay, I'm gonna look to get in longs here again. Alright, I'm gonna test out longs one more time here. Entry's higher than I want it to be, but again, I can keep my stop beneath this low. I can still keep it, I'm gonna put it down beneath this low. About 55 ticks here. It's 17.55475. Right, just half a lot right now. And again, my conviction here on this trade, guys, is this 5-minute and this 15-minute. Look at that reaction off the 5-minute bullish fair value gap. Look at this reaction off that 15-minute bullish fair value gap here. Right, this could be a strong breakout right here. This could be a strong breakout, and that's why I'm testing this out. All right, so I have my conviction in this trade. I'm only in half a lot, so now I just got to wait and see if this one plays out. All right, I'm just gonna keep it in half a lot until we're in the positive, right? I don't want to go in full lot while we're in the negative. See, like for this reason exactly. Yeah, I mean, bears are really stepping in here, guys. Bears are stepping in pretty strong. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So we're back down to that 50% level. Okay, well. All right, so 2 losses so far. 2 losses so far. My bias is still so bullish here, though, guys. My bias is still so bullish here. But, like, look at that reaction off. Look at that reaction on ES off that 5 minute. That, you know, that gave me a lot of conviction in that trade. That gave me a lot of conviction. And the reality of it is I got, you know, an entry up here, so I didn't give myself a lot of room for a stop loss there. That's all right. Okay, I like that reaction. All right, I'm going to get in the longs one more time here. One more time. I'm going to test out the longs one more time. All right, if I take a loss here, I'll probably call it quits for this session. All right, if I take a loss here, I'll probably call it quits for this session. But I'm loving these reactions off this 5 minute and off this 15 minute. Those are the reactions that I want to see here. 17,552 is going to be my stop loss. Okay, I'm going to add into a full here. I'm going to add into a full. So my entry moved up a little bit. I like that reaction there. There we go. There we go. I'm going to move up my stop to 50 ticks here. I'll move my stop up to 50 ticks here. 17,55425. Alright, so that's a good reaction here. I'm going to take first TP if we break this high up above. Alright, so my first TP level will be up here. So we just got to see that follow through now. We got to see that follow through. We really got to see us continue to pump here. I mean, that's a great reaction off that 15 minute and that 5 minute. But now we just really got to see that follow through. I don't want this 5 minute here to be an inverse. I want to see us really push through that level. Right, so I've liked all of these setups, right? So that's why, like, that's why I've gone in them. That's why I went in a full on this trade, because I like that strong bullish push after grabbing sell side liquidity. Right, so I like this trade. I like it. I like it, right? And like I said, I'm not expecting to lose, but if I take a loss, this will probably be my last trade of this session. You know, because I'll hit my loss limit on this account and I'll call it a day on this account. But again, I like this setup. I like that we're in the strong bullish trend. This 15 minute, look at that reaction off that 15 minute, guys. That's what I want to see there. Look at the reaction off that 5 minute. That's exactly what I want to see. But now we just got to see follow through. Got to see some momentum step in to the high side. Need those longs to start stepping in. I love those wicks to the downside. I love that we came down to that 50% level and that we bounced from our 50%. Came down a little bit lower. Right, but this could be a trade where we could end up really pumping all the way up, you know, up to here. Right, for like 200 plus ticks. Okay, but at this point I do want to take my first TP at this high just to secure profit at about 73 ticks and then kind of let it run. Alright, so that's a good pump. Again, if you guys want to take a 1-to-1, that would be about 50 ticks here. So we're pretty close to a 1-to-1. And if you want to take a 1-to-1, feel free to do so. I really want to hold this. I want to see this play out. I mean, look at that 15 minute, guys. Look at that 15 minute. That's the reaction I want to see. Look at that 5 minute candle. That's a great 5 minute close. So we have the momentum at this point. We have the momentum. Now we just need to see that follow through. Momentum is there. Just waiting for follow through. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, first TP just got hit. First TP just got hit. All right, so I'm moving my stop to break even. Stop loss to break even. And now I'm going to let this one ride. Okay, so either I'll take full TP at this high up here, or I'm going to let it go all the way up to our third standard deviation up here, around 200 ticks. Okay, so first TP's hit. I'm going to keep my stop at break even for now. Right, so we'll see. I'm going to let this one ride now. So either you could take full TP at this high up here, around 129 ticks. Right, and if you do that, you'll make back all of your losses that we just took. Actually, you'll make back all your losses if you took TP around here, right? We took a 50 tick loss and a 55 tick loss. Right, so you should make your losses back up around 100 ticks, right? So this is a good sign. This is that, I mean, look at the 15-minute again. Fantastic 15-minute candle. This is why I'm letting this one ride, guys. And that's why I'm keeping my stop at break even for now. Because I want to give this one room to keep running. Look at that. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, you could take full TP up here. I kind of want to hold this one for longer. If we can pump through this high aggressively, I'm going to look to keep holding. But if we don't pump aggressively, because we just got some SMT over here, ES broke that high, NQ hasn't. Okay, so let's move that stop just a little bit. I'm going to move my stop into profit just a little bit, up to 7.3, up to 573. Okay, so now I'm waiting to see if we pump through this high aggressively. There's no reason for me to sell at this point. I want to keep holding. But if we wick above and then we start to drop, then maybe I'll take my profit. But again, we got SMT on NQ and ES. Look how ES swept that high. So it's something to look out for. But I mean, guys, nothing on this 15-minute or 5-minute tells me that we're going to drop here. Nothing on either of these levels tell me we're going to drop. All right, we look very, very bullish. We look very, very bullish here. Okay, so I'm back into profit at this point. Right, if I sold right now, I would be back in profit. But I want to keep holding this trade. Again, we could get a reaction off this order block up here. We definitely could get a reaction off this order block. Right, but this is a trade that I want to keep. I want to let this run. I don't want to sell this prematurely. Right, even if I get stopped out, that's okay. I still won the trade. And now I can still take more trades because I just made most of my losses back, right? But this is one of those trades that I see so much potential on that I'm not going to sell too early. I'm going to let this run. But again, if you want to, sell some more partials at this high, you could, and then you could leave some runners. So look at this 1-minute order block up here. Notice how it's like a supply level. We have this order block and then a strong drop. That means this is going to be a strong level of resistance. As you can see right now, we're struggling to push through it. Right, so this order block up here is a strong level of resistance because we saw that aggressive drop from here. But I really think we can push through this level right now. There we go. Right, so if you want to take full TP around here, you can. I really want to see if we can keep running here. I don't like these wicks. I don't like these wicks on the 1 minute. But we're about to close this 15-minute candle, so I understand why we're getting a little bit of resistance here. But guys, look at that 15-minute. Look at that. So this is our original entry idea, right? So our original entry idea is playing out perfectly. Boom. Okay, I'm going to start trailing my stop a little bit. I'm going to trail my stop a little bit. This point, right? Because now, look, if we wick above and we start to drop, there's a possibility that we grab liquidity and we drop, right? So that's why I want to move my stop into profit more. So 17,580.50 is my new stop. Okay, if you want to take full TP, take your full TP, okay? I mean, we just hit 135 ticks, so you could take your full TP and you could run. I want to let this run and see if there's potential to get up to 200 ticks up at our third standard deviation here. Right, the only thing I don't like is that open. I don't like that we opened up and then we wicked above. Right, so we definitely could see a drop from here. Yep, there's that drop. That's why I said if you guys want to take that profit, right? Because we did wick above and we got that aggressive drop. But that's why my stop is now in profit, right? Okay, so I just got stopped out in profit. Solid trade there. Solid trade there. These shorts might really come in now, actually. These shorts might really come in now. I mean, look how we just grabbed liquidity and dropped. Let's see if we form a bearish breaker here. I'm going to look to short this market. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could say it's wasted, but for me, like I said, I wanted to see if it would run. I didn't have my stop at break even, right? Yeah, like, you know, yeah, you could say it's wasted, but for me, that was my plan the whole time. So I didn't really care, right? I didn't really care because I wanted to get more reward on that trade, right? So that's why I was willing to hold it. Okay, guys, we're gonna get this bearish reversal pattern now. We're going to get this bearish reversal pattern now. So we're forming a bearish breaker here on the 5-minute and on the 1-minute. So we might be able to catch actually pretty good short position. Because now what I'm going to look at is I'm going to use my fib. We're gonna check from our high to our low of this morning range. Right, so to 830. What happened to my... There it is. Okay. Oh, it's right here. Okay. So now our 0.5 is all the way down here. So now, after forming this reversal pattern, okay, we formed a bearish breaker here on a 1-minute. We formed a bearish breaker on our 1-minute, okay. So now we're going to chart out our lowest down close candle here. So what I like to see more on the 5-minute, right? I want to see us displace on the 5-minute. That's why I'm being a little more patient here. Because look, we came back down to that 5-minute fair value gap and we started to really jump. So that's why I'm waiting, because I wanted to see displacement on the 5-minute. I don't want to just jump in off that 1-minute just yet. But I think we're going to see that reaction. Alright, I'm going to test out the shorts here. Just half a lot. Just half a lot. I'm going to keep my stop just above that high, 17,562. Because we do, this 1-minute is telling me that we're trying to drop right now, so that's why I'm testing it out. Right? That's why I'm not waiting for that full displacement yet. Because we did bounce from this 1-minute unicorn pattern here. We formed this 1-minute order block. Again, this is an aggressive entry. Off the 1-minute time frame, not waiting for that 5-minute displacement. But that's me expecting that 5-minute displacement to happen. And we just got that 5-minute displacement, okay? So that's why I got in. Oops, I accidentally got in 2 contracts. I meant to get in 1. I think I double clicked. Okay, that's alright. Okay, I'm going to look to hold down to this low here. Alright, so I didn't even mean to go in a full lot there. I double clicked it on accident, but that's okay. I'm going to let this one go. So now, I mean, we have our 5-minute breaker at this around the same level, right? This low right here is our 5-minute breaker. But I do expect these shorts to come back in now, right? And we might get stopped out here. We might try to retrace up into that 5-minute a little more. We might try to retrace on that 5-minute a little more. I'm okay with letting this one ride, just because we have such a strong chance of dropping from here. We look at that 5-minute. We just touched into our 5-minute breaker now. So we'll see. We'll see. We might, we might drop from here, or we might retrace a little bit more. We might try to form this 5-minute unicorn here, right? We might form this 5-minute fair value gap and then retrace into that and go short. And if that's the case, then I'll wait for that retracement, right? If I get stopped out, then I'll get a re-entry. I'll just get a re-entry if that's the case. Like I said, this was more of an aggressive entry off the 1-minute time frame. Normally, I like to take my entries based off of our 5 and 15-minute candles, right? So it was more aggressive, but we got such strong bearish momentum. We formed a 1-minute bearish breaker, unicorn setup, and now we're still touching off that 5-minute bearish breaker. So we could definitely still drop from here, but we might come up and try to form this 5-minute fair value gap, and then come back up into it and then drop. And if that's the case and I get stopped out, well, I'll look for a re-entry in the shorts again. Looks like it's trying to stop us out here. Again, like that's the risk of not waiting for this 5-minute fair value gap to close, right? But that's the risk I was willing to take. I was willing to get more aggressive on this trade. As long as you're willing to take that risk and you understand what risk you're taking, it's okay to take these kinds of trades. But if you're just hopping in trades just to hop in them without really understanding your risk, that's when it gets dangerous, right? Because then you're just going to lose trades for what, right? Just because you wanted to catch the momentum, right? But I understand my risk before I get into every single trade, right? Let's start to see that drop. Let's start to see that drop. Let's see that 5-minute closes in a little over a minute. 5-minute closes in a little over a minute. So we'll see if we do form that, that unicorn on the 5-minute. If that's the case, we'll have another really good entry. We'll have another really good entry on the 5-minute. Right, like this fair value gap up here might be our best entry actually. We'll see though. I also want to see us displace this 5-minute bullish fair value gap. So we're sitting around break even, right? If you want to get out of this trade, you could get out of this trade. I'm going to hold this trade. You could get out at break even here for minimal loss for no loss, right? And wait for a re-entry. At this point, I'd rather hold this trade. I'd rather hold this trade and see if we're going to get that breakout right now. I've already been in it for about 6-7 minutes. Okay, but look what we're doing. We're forming buy side liquidity. We're probably going to come up and grab that buy side. We're probably going to come up here, grab that buy side up into this 5-minute fair value gap, and then drop. Okay, so we just closed that 5-minute. Look, we're probably going to come up. Watch. Okay, so I'm going to look for a re-entry up here. I'm going to look for a re-entry up here. Okay, so this 5-minute here. We're trying to fill that fair value gap. Once we start to get some kind of reaction, I'm going to get in the shorts. Alright, I just got in the shorts. Okay, we started to get a little bit of reaction there. And now I can keep my stop above the 5-minute breaker. Okay, so now my stop is good. I know we're still looking pretty aggressive to the high side right now, but I'm expecting a reaction off this level. I'm expecting a reaction off this level here. I'm expecting us to bounce off this 5-minute. I just don't like that 15-minute. Oh man, that 15-minute doesn't look too good. I like the 5-minute. It's just the 15-minute that's the only thing that's worrying me a little bit. Yeah, we got to see a reaction here on this 5-minute or else we're going to get stopped out. And we might continue to the longs. So this 5-minute is key, guys. This 5-minute is key right now. This 5-minute is very important. We got to see a reaction pretty soon. We might pump all the way through. Wow. Okay. Wow. Well, that was very aggressive. I mean, I guess that 15-minute here is what did us. Okay, but we'll still see if we're going to respect this breaker. We'll still see if we respect this breaker in this fair value gap. This might be a fake out here. This might be a fake out. All right, we're still in that fair value gap, in that breaker. We still have that reversal pattern. Yes, I got stopped out there. We still have this reversal pattern. All right, I was only in half a lot on that trade. All right, so I'm still minimizing my risk here. So we're going to see. I want to see what this 5-minute candle does. I want to see what this 5-minute candle does because we're looking too bullish right now. We're looking a little too bullish right now. I want to wait for this 5-minute to close about a minute and a half. And that's when we'll really know what's going to happen. All right, because if we close above on this 5-minute, we're probably going to continue to the longs. But if we close inside of this breaker or this fair value gap, I think shorts will come in hard. So now it's just about waiting for that. Now it's just about patience, waiting for that to happen. Alright, so I've been a little more aggressive today than normal. Alright, but I've been willing to be aggressive. I've been willing to be aggressive to try to catch these trades with better risk. Right. So let's see what this 5-minute does. We've got about 30 seconds. Wow, we're really pumping here. We are really pumping. Well, now we just displaced that 5-minute. We displaced that 5-minute, so that's a little surprising there, guys. I really thought we were going to get that continuation down there. I thought we were going to get that continuation down, but we still see the VIX. The VIX is now dumping again. DXY is now dumping again. Okay, so we might see longs come back. We'll see what we do. We still have this strong 5-minute order block. But guys, we bounced off that 5-minute fair value gap here. again. We bounced off the 15-minute fair value gap again. So, so at this point, after seeing that displacement of that bearish breaker, now I'm expecting longs to come back in. We have to see if we're gonna pump through this high or not. Okay, because we still have this reversal pattern. We still have this 5-minute order block. All right, so still a strong level that we could bounce from. But after seeing displacement of that breaker, right now I would be expecting longs to try to pump through now. Just look at that 15-minute candle. Crazy 15-minute close there. Big fake out to the downside. We got our displacement, we got our reversal pattern, and we just didn't get our follow through. But I still like those entries based off of that reversal pattern. I still like those entries. Alright, that's why I was willing to take those trades. That's why I was willing to take those trades. Right, if you already know your risk going into every single trade, right, you can feel a lot more comfortable in your trades. Okay, it's looking like we're still going to try to pump. But now we're kind of stuck in between. All right, we're at this strong 5-minute order block. We had our displacement down. So now we got to see, are we going to form more of like a head and shoulders pattern, or are we going to try to break for the highs? To me right now, it looks like we're trying to break for the highs. All right, I think we're going to break for those highs. So now it's about that displacement, waiting for that displacement of the highs, right, and then looking for a retracement back down for the longs. Yeah, it looks like we're forming another bullish breaker on the 5-minute. All right, if we were to displace this high up here on this 5-minute candle, we're still struggling at this level of resistance here. Still struggling. I'm going to be patient. All right, I'm not going to rush into a trade here. I want to wait for something. I want to wait for a clean setup here. I want to wait for a clean setup. We're forming this 5-minute fair value gap. We do have a balanced price range right here. So this right here would be an inversion, a 5-minute inversion, but we balanced it. So now this is a balanced price range, right, with a fair value gap going right beside it. But we can still see a reaction off this level if we were to retrace back down. So I mean, even with displacement down here, we still respected that fair value gap and we still pumped. Okay, so now I'm looking at this balanced price range down here. I want to see if we're going to trade back into it. The issue here, guys, with longing back down in this balanced price range is this type of head and shoulders pattern, right? But I do think we're looking to break out for the longs here. Let's see, this 5-minute is going to be a bearish candle. We're going to see some retracement. We're still respecting this 1 minute breakout fair value gap here. Okay, so now I'm just kind of waiting. There's a few things I'm looking for, right? I'm either waiting for that displacement of this high up here and then a retracement move, or I'm waiting for us to trade back down into this balanced price range down here and to see a reaction, right, for longs, because we're still going to be offered with a good risk to reward here. And look at this 15-minute bearish order block we're forming right now. This could be a nice breakout here, but again, I'm not going to get in the longs at the top. I'm not going to get the longs at the top until we get that displacement. But this is looking like we're forming a nice 15-minute bullish order block with this down close candle right here. Could be a strong level of support in the future. And we close above this on the 5 minute. That would be a bullish breaker pattern, right, with this highest up close candle from this low to high. Longs are looking like they're really trying to step in here. Alright, here we go. We're trying to get that displacement now. Look at this 15-minute order block here. This is going to be a good level to long from. But now I'm being patient. I'm not going to trade a breakout, right, guys? I don't trade breakouts until we see displacement, get retracement. That's kind of a good rhyme. Kind of like that. See displacement, wait for retracement. Okay, so about a minute and 40 seconds on this 5 minute. I want to wait for this to close. We don't want to get caught in another liquidity grab up here where we wick above and we drop. We want to see us close above these highs. We want to see a candle close above these highs. I want to see a candle close above these highs. Yes, we do have a balanced price range down here on the 5 minute. This could be a good level that we come down and bounce from. Yeah, we're getting SMT right now as well. ES is not breaking that high. ES still has failed to break this high, while NQ has broken the high, but we're still looking very bullish here. Alright, these little 1 minute bearish candles on breakouts are also good levels to long from. These little order blocks, they kind of accelerate us, right? They accelerate price in the right way. Let's look at that daily fair value gap. Yeah, I mean, it's something to look out for, but we have, this is that daily fair value gap I was talking about earlier, right? This is something to look out for, but we do still have potential to really keep pumping up to our 4-hour order block above. Right, we've pretty much encroached the entire fair value gap. Okay, so now we've displaced, now we've formed this breaker pattern here. Now if we retrace back into this 5 minute breaker, I'm going to look for longs. Right, we're gonna try to catch them. Try to catch them up to that 4 hour. Right, we just want to make sure we get a good entry, because we still could. There's a possibility we could still retrace down to this balanced price range down here. We also want to see this 15-minute displace. We still got 4 minutes left on that 15-minute candle, but it's looking very bullish. We have this 15-minute order block, strong level of support now. I think we have a lot of potential to pump here after getting that displacement on the 5-minute. I want to see us touch into this breaker first, though. I want to see us touch into this breaker before trying to get that entry. I'm not gonna rush. I'm not gonna rush this entry. I want to wait for the right entry. All right, we might even form a unicorn. We might even form a fair value gap here on this 5-minute time frame. That would be even more conviction on this trade for a good entry here. So that's why you're not really seeing me rush to get an entry. That's why you're seeing me be more patient right now. We also want to see the 15-minute candle close and displace this high. We still have 3 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. So I'm not in a rush right now. I'd rather be patient, get the best risk to reward we can on this trade. Alright, patience is key on this trade here. About 2 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. I really want to see this 15-minute close above. Okay, we're coming back into that breaker now. Coming back into that breaker. I just don't want to rush an entry when we still could come down all the way to this balanced price range. And especially when this 15-minute is failing to displace. Right, we don't want to get caught in a reversal. Don't want to get caught in a reversal. Especially when this 15-minute has been telling us a lot today. Yeah, and we have SMT. Right, so this is something we got to be careful of here. That's why you haven't seen me get an entry. But if we start to get a strong bullish reaction here, that's when I would look to take it long. But so far, no reaction to the upside so far. We're just dumping. We're coming down to that equilibrium of our breaker. I'm not loving that 15-minute time frame. I'm going to need to see a strong reaction here on this 5-minute. We have head and shoulders on ES, but not on NQ. What I mean by strong reaction is we see the candle come down, wick really aggressively down, and then start to pump aggressively, right? Like something that we're faking out to the downside and then we're pumping. And we're seeing us react off of a PD array, right? Off a fair value gap, off an order block. Alright, I love that we got displacement on the 5-minute, but we're just not getting that displacement on our 15. That's what's keeping me from entering. Right, that's why I haven't entered yet. I still like the setup. I still like that we got our displacement of the highs, excuse me, on our 5-minute. There we go. Alright, I'm going to test out the longs here. I'm going to test out the longs, and this is what I mean by a strong reaction, is that strong bullish candle off of our PD array, off of our breaker. That's what I mean by a strong reaction. Alright, like this 5-minute candle, strong reaction. But now it's just about seeing that follow through. Okay, so I'm going to keep a stop down at just below, around 50 ticks. 17.58225. Okay, so that's a good start. Now we just need to see follow through to the upside. Need to see that 5-minute really go aggressive, and that's what I mean. We wick down to start, and we start to get an aggressive bullish push. That's the reaction I want to see. That's the type of candle I want to see here. Yeah, we're just not getting follow through, guys. We are not getting follow through. I don't like that. Yep. Alright, well, I'm probably going to call it after that. That's kind of like my loss limit there for this account on this session. Right? And for me, it's not over trading because we made that one trade. We came back. We made a lot of our losses back. Right? And I still have room to take losses on this account. But since I've already taken a few losses, I don't know if I want to keep trading. I don't know if I want to keep trading this session just because of this chop we're seeing right now. But we did come down to this balance price range. We did see a nice bounce from that balance price range, but again, that SMT between NQ and ES, I'm just not liking this chop. I'm not liking this chop right now. A lot of movement, just a lot of chop up and down. A lot of chop up and down. Alright, so I mean, I have room on my account to take one more loss, but I just don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to take another trade, just because we're seeing a lot of fake outs. We're seeing a lot of fake outs. I really want to see this 4-hour come up. I want to see us come up to this 4-hour order block up here. We are still so bullish on the day. But yeah, this area here is tough. This is a tough area to long in, right? And it's even a tough area to short in because we had a good short setup and then we pumped up and grabbed highs again, right? So this has been kind of a tough session for sure. It's been a tough session for sure. But we've kept our, at least I've kept my risk management very, very good to where I still have room to take one more loss. So I'm not, I'm not stressed. The VIX is moving up a little bit. It's moving up a little bit, not too aggressively. But we're definitely seeing it. We're seeing it move up just a tad bit. But again, this is a very key area. We still, there's still so much possibility for us to pump from here. Right, and that's why I'm still thinking about taking one more trade. That's the only reason I'm still thinking about taking one more trade, because we still could pump from here. We came down to that balanced price range and we bounced from it. We're still respecting this bullish breaker. I'm going to test out one last trade here. And this is going to be it. This is my last trade, okay? If I get stopped out of this trade, I'm done. I'm calling it. Right? That's my loss limit. 17.58175 is going to be my stop. It's not the entry I want. But guys, I still think there's so much potential in the longs here. That's why I'm willing to take this trade. There's still so much potential in the longs. So much potential in these longs, guys. If we come down to that balanced price range, we bounce. We're still respecting our bullish breaker. We displace these highs. That's why I'm still doing it. And I wouldn't take this trade if I didn't have one more trade before I hit my daily loss limit, right? If I already hit my daily loss limit, I would not be taking this trade. But if I lose this, that will be my daily loss limit and I'll be done. Right? I'll be done. Like I said, on this 5-minute time frame, we have this bullish breaker. We have this balanced price range down here. We trade into our balanced price range. We see a strong reaction. We see a strong reaction on our bullish breaker. We're still respecting it. We displaced our highs up here. Right? That's why I still, it's just, I'm not getting the timing right? And that's why I keep getting stopped out. And that's why this will be my last trade here. That's why this will be my last trade, right? I'm just not timing it right. Just because we're still chopping. Right, but again, this will be my last trade on this account for the day. So that's why I was willing to take one more trade. That's why I was willing to take one more trade. And all right, I'm done with this account for the day. This account is gonna go back in the closet. It's gonna go take a timeout. All right, this account's gonna go take a timeout for the day. It's not allowed to come back out. It's not allowed to come back out until tomorrow. It's not allowed to come back out until tomorrow, okay? And that's what you have to learn to do. You gotta learn to do that with your account. Right? If you hit your loss limit, you exit out of that account, you don't even trade it. You're done. You're done. Right? So more losses than I wanted to take, but since I was able to manage my risk pretty good throughout all of my losses, you know, I was still able to, and because I have the discipline to stop once I hit my loss limit, right? That's why I'm not worried about it. All right, I would obviously rather win, and I'd rather you guys win, right? But I just got faked out a few times, just didn't get my entries right. And it's just a learning moment, right? It's a learning moment. It's just a learning moment. Right? Like I said, I still see potential in these longs, but we're just chopping so much to where it's hard to time it right. It's really hard to time it right. Just because of this chop. Because we're coming up, we're coming down, we're coming up, we're coming down. Right? So yeah, I'm not stressed, I'm not worried. Like I said, I take the loss. I take the loss on the day with this account. That's alright. Not every day for me is going to be a winning day. And I've accepted that. I've accepted that fact that not every day is going to be a winning day. As much as I would like it to be. As much as I would like it to be, not every day is going to be a winning day. But what's the worst thing you could do? The worst thing you could do for yourself is you hit your daily loss limit on your account, what you're willing to lose, and then you keep trading because you want a revenge trade, because you want to make those losses back, and then you end up doubling your loss that you wanted to take, right? And that's when it really sucks, and that's when you're going to be really frustrated with yourself. And that's when I've gotten very frustrated with myself, is when I hit my daily loss limit, and what do? I start revenge trading and trying to make those losses back, and then I end up losing double of what my loss limit was. And now it's just it's so frustrating because I didn't stick to my plan, right? It's just, that's not good. Okay, you wouldn't have seen me take this trade if I had already hit my limit. I wouldn't have taken this trade. There's no way. right? But because I hadn't, and because I still saw potential in the longs, I decided to take it, right? And you know, it wasn't the best trade. Got stopped out just because we're chopping. But that's what happens, right? So now what I'm going to do, yeah, we are chopping so hard right now. So now what I'm going to do is I won't trade until our prop firm session. You know, I'm not touching this account. Like I said, it's going on timeout. It's done for the day. I'm not touching it. I take my loss. Just like you take your winners and you run, I take my loss and I run, right? Take my loss and I run. I'm done. But what's cool is I have my prop firm accounts now that I can trade during our prop firm session, right? Which we trade lighter. We trade not as many contracts. And I can still trade those and, you know, work on those prop firm session, you know, those prop firm accounts with you guys. Right? That's what's nice about prop firm accounts is you're able to, even after losing on your normal, you know, say you have a live account, you lose on that one, you can close that account, you can come back, trade your prop firm accounts, and still work on trading and still work on your risk management and still have potential to make money, right? Right, so, you know, we took more losses than wins today. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, but we still caught one nice win, which was a plus. It was a nice win. Caught good reward on it. But the losses definitely outweighed the wins today. Definitely outweighed the wins. And you know, you guys saw it. I definitely got faked out. I didn't get my entries like I wanted, and that's just because of how the market is today after PMI. Right, so that's alright. But I hope at least you guys learned something from the session, right? Even on losing days, I want you guys to be able to take something out of these sessions. At least get some education, learn something. That's my goal. That's my hope for you guys, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come back at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our prop firm session. We're going to take a breather. Hopefully the market will be a little bit better by that time with some better price action. And we'll be able to take some good trades. We'll be able to take some good trades at that point. All right. So like I said, my bias is still long right now. It's just about waiting for this market to get out of this chop. But I still expect us to possibly come up for this 4-hour bearish order block up here. Right, that's still what I'm expecting. Maybe target this 1 hour fair value gap, 1 hour bearish order block. Okay, so we still have buy side targets. The one thing to look out for is we might get our, you know, that retracement in the market around lunchtime, which is coming up back down to our discount. So something else to look out for. But overall, what I'll leave you with is I still want price to target these highs. I still want price to target this 1 hour fair value gap and this 4-hour order block, okay? So that's still what I'm looking for today. But we'll be back at 10:30, and we'll be ready to go. We'll get back into it. We'll trade our prop firms. We'll scale down. Try to take some good trades, all right? 10:30 PST, yes, 10:30 PST. 10:30 PST. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining up. And I will see you guys in less than 2 hours, about 1 hour and 45 minutes or so. All right, guys, God bless everybody. Take care of those accounts. If you've hit your loss limit on an account, don't keep trading it. Don't revenge trade. If you're up on the day, don't get greedy, right? Still stick to that discipline. Stick to your plan no matter what. All right, guys. Appreciate you. I'll see you in a little bit. And peace.